Hey guys, it's Kat and I am back today to put some makeup on my face. This is loosely a 1 week, 1 palette review, but it's sort of testing out a collection and it might be just like 4 looks. I'm not too sure. But this is the new Kaleidos Flower Punk collection. I was sent the whole collection from Kaleidos, so thank you so much. I can't believe they keep sending me stuff. They do check, which is I like. I like when brands email and say, are you interested in trying this? Yes or no. I really appreciate that because I only like to review and try products I'm actually interested in, and luckily Kaleidos has interesting stuff, so I usually say yes. But this is the Kaleidos Flower Punk collection. Now, you can get it in this collector's box. You can buy things individually. I will link down below to the Kaleidos site. This is available at the moment. I'm a little bit late with doing this. If you do buy this collection, you get this little like drawer thing, which, okay, you could argue is excessive packaging, but at the same time, it's actually fairly functional, so I don't hate it. In the top, you do get a coloring book and a mirror, which is kind of cool. There's me. Hi, me. Coloring book, which I haven't even opened. Maybe I'll have a quick look at it. And there's also some what looks like temporary tattoos. Clearly, I have not researched this very well. All right, so this coloring book's a bit strange. There are some designs that you can color in, which I think is really cool because I do like coloring things. Like, let's have a look. All right, so you can see some of the designs here that look quite fun to color in. They're all sort of like the Kaleidos designs, which I do like. So there you go. Intricate, fun, adult coloring book. But then they're just all blank pages. So would I call it a coloring book? Not so much. It's more of a notebook. Then on to the actual makeup. There's 2 lip sets. Now, I have tried one of these and I do really like them. But one reason why this is not a traditional 1 week, 1 palette review is I do want to try all of these lip products. I'll go through them and swatch them in a second. And then in the bottom drawer, which you can take completely out, which is handy. So let's do that for now. There's a lip mask and also the eyeshadow palette, which I have not opened. I hope it's not broken. So there's a few new products in this range. So they've never released a lip mask. This is the blue Agave softening lip mask. So let's have a quick look at this, shall I? It's got quite nice packaging and it is like a blue lip balm. So it's got a bit of a sheen in it. I can't smell any scent, but I don't know if that's just because I have one blocked nose, but there we go. Lip mask. I will be trying this probably tonight before I go to bed, and I'll sort of give you an idea when I check in tomorrow what I think about the lip mask. So the eyeshadow palette looks like this. It's different packaging to their other palettes. They are experimenting with different packaging. The box has this sort of window sort of peek through thing, which is cool. I think that's cool. I think that's probably a cool technique wasted on packaging that you throw out. But I do like the look of it, so there's that. And to be fair, it's just done with like thick paper or thin cardboard, so you can recycle the box. So you got the image and then you open it up and there's the actual palette there. So the packaging design is very, very different in both the look of it and also how it functions compared to their past palettes. This has a really cool mirror and it's got this sort of plastic sticker over the top that's got this intricate design with like a leopard and a snake and a horse, and I really like the effect of that. I think it looks really cool. It sort of looks, this almost gives me like a modern but like designer brand feel to it. I think it's really cool. The way you take this off is a bit like the Inglot Freedom palettes. So it's got magnets and this sort of slides off. So it's got magnets in each corner. You can sort of magnetize it there if you wanted to. You can sort of put it to the top if you wanted to, so it holds there. So there are different ways that you can sort of open this. One thing I just noticed, well, okay, there's 2 things I just noticed. One, the mirror on the lid, you can't magnetize it like that. It just repels, like the magnets repel. So you can't actually really use it in a functional way, if that makes sense. So I feel like this is a bit more of a gimmick than something that's practical. Also, the fact that you have to slide the lid off, I've already gouged into that mint shade at the front there. So the corner, just while I was sort of trying to maneuver it around, gouged into the eyeshadow. So I do like that you can take the lid off completely and just use this like a palette on your table or in your hand as you're doing your makeup. But I do think that the mirror is useless. So unless you want to be holding this and holding the mirror at the same time, didn't need to be there. And also, yeah, you can sort of damage the eyeshadows a little bit more when you've got corners and magnets and things sliding around. So even though I don't hate this packaging design, I don't think it's as functional as it appears to be, and I'm actually more impressed by the design, so the actual look of the palette, than I am by the mechanism of the palette, if that makes sense. This color story is quite interesting. They've mixed sort of two different, what I would call genres. You've got the pastels, which we've seen a lot in the last couple of years, and also the grungy greens, which we've seen a lot, but they've mixed it together. So it's like flower, punk. I get it. I don't know how this is going to work together, so I'm keen to play around over a few looks and check in and let you guys know how this is actually working as a cohesive palette, because I have my reservations. I sort of feel like you can probably use it that way or that way, and mixing the two might work, might not work, we'll see. So that's what I'm curious about. There is a mix of different formulas. So there's mainly mattes, and there's 3 what look like sort of sparkly shades. These 2 shades here are like micro shimmer sparkles, and they almost have a duochrome effect. So this is a mint, but when you hold it to the side, it has like a little bit of a hint of purple iridescence, and this is a pink, but when you hold it to the side, it's got a hint of gold. Then we have a straight up sort of old gold, I would call that, old gold shimmer. This doesn't look like it's got any dimension, like any color shift to it. It just looks like it's an olivey gold shade, and the rest are all mattes. So that's the palette. The things I'm personally most excited for are the 2 lip sets. So I love these tins. Like, I think you could definitely reuse and keep these tins, which I like. I like the designs. I like the tins. I like them. Also, I feel like I'm in the minority here when I say that I have been more impressed with the Kaleidos lip products than I have with their eyeshadows. I like their eyeshadows, and I think where their eyeshadows stand out in terms of like the rest of the eyeshadows in this market, I feel like they're really good with coming up with interesting color stories. But in terms of formula, I don't think they're like the best of the best. Their eyeshadows are good, and you can definitely get really nice looks using them. But I've found some issues with the formula in their past palettes, just personally. So I have been more impressed with their lip products. I think some of their lip products are really, really gorgeous. And this is a new lip formula. It comes in 2 sets. Again, if you buy the big pack, you get both sets. But let's open these up. The first one is this more nude set, and you open it like this. I like this tin. I think this tin is cool. You can pop out this sort of insert and just use it to store a bunch of lipsticks or anything, whatever you want. But those are the 4 nude shades. I will swatch these. So this new formula is called the Cloud Lab Lip Clay. And I've been told that clay in like the Asian market just refers to the matte finish of it. So it doesn't actually contain clay. It's more of that blotted lip look. So this is the nude set, and this is more of the interesting colored set, which I'm intrigued by. I love the box. I love the packaging as well. It's got this almost like Jeffree Star dose of colors, sugar pill sort of packaging design, but it's got this rubberized, almost like NARS finish to it. So it does look different. This particular one goes from this dark, beautiful teal, and it ombres out to, you can see the color of the product down the bottom. This one is a bright pink, and the nude ones do the same, but it's got this mauvey shade that ombres down. So you can definitely see which ones are bright and which ones are the nude set. I definitely think it's more effective telling the shades in the brights because, of course, the colors are a lot more noticeable. In the nudes, you have to check the shade or open it up. So there is probably a little bit of limitation with being able to just pick the shade you want just from seeing the packaging with the nude set. But I think the packaging design looks cool. All right, let's get on to swatching. I'm going to do the eyeshadow palette first because I feel like some of the lip products may stain. All right, as per usual, there is nothing on my arm. I'm just going to swatch with my fingers. This is the first shade. I'm just going to build up that mint shade a little bit because I feel like it feels nice. It's not super, super pigmented, but I feel like it's nicely blendable. This is the shimmer. Oh, that's like an iridescent topper, so it doesn't have much base color. This color I love the look of. Again, that's like just an iridescent topper. It's really hard to see how pretty and pink this is on camera, but it's quite nice and vibrant. Got some beautiful mauvey mattes. So this is a dark mauvey matte. It looks almost brown. It looks really, really pretty. And then we have a lighter, more peachy pink. Oh, this color, I love it. This is not very pigmented. Let's try to do that again. All right, this chlorophyll shade is definitely firmer pressed in the pan. You can definitely build it up, but I am finding that just the oils from my finger is starting to seal the pan a little bit. So I feel like that type of shade is hard to formulate, which is probably why they've had to press it really firmly, and it's a bit, yeah, it's not as sort of smooth. All right, the last three felt quite nice and smooth as well. So this is more of a mustard chartreuse color. I love that color. I love these grungy sort of neon yellowy shades. This one looks like a winner too. Look at this shimmery, whoa. So that is definitely a pigmented shimmer. These are toppers. This has more opacity to it. And then we have like a grungy green, like an olive green, which is really nice as well. So the only one that feels a little bit funny in formulation is this neon one here. I do like to show the pans after I've swatched them. There wasn't much kick up, there wasn't many issues, but hopefully you can see there that that's got a bit of a shine to it. That is starting to seal up a little bit. So you can see that hard pan starting. Yeah, look, it should be fine just brushing that off with a clean brush, but we'll see how that develops throughout the week. All right, time to swatch the nude lip products. I'm going to go in this order. So there's nude 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Abode, Dune, Terra, and Sienna. So that's the order I'm doing. And that's what they look like all together. Again, I will be trying all of these on my lips, but I just thought I'll swatch them so you can see them compared to each other. This is not super, super bold. All right, so that one's described as a dusty, cool-toned peachy pink. This next one is a cool-toned berry dusty rose. So it's definitely more cool-toned, a little bit more mauvey. This next one I'm obsessed with. I've actually worn this one and I loved it. This is a warm-toned burnt terracotta orange. It's a really fun shade. This has been in their marketing a lot, like their marketing images. It's a gorgeous shade. And this last one is a warm-toned toasted chestnut brown. So it's a little bit like they've got warm, cooler, but these are slightly lighter and these are more mid-toned. So with the colored ones, again, I'm going from DE01 through to 04. So the first one is described as a vibrant and fruity neon fuchsia. Oh, I love this color. This is a really beautiful color. If I'm going to wear a pink, that's the pink I want to wear. Then we have Agave, which is a fierce and intense dark teal green. That is definitely a dark teal green. I'm curious how well this wears. I might have to do a wear test on that one. So we'll see if it doesn't, like if it fades off patchy, because these aren't the most opaque. They feel almost moussey, like they're going to have a little bit of hydration to them, but they still have that matte blotted effect. Mahogany is a warm-toned deep woody brown. It's definitely a deep woody brown. It's a nice sort of chocolatey brown. And the last shade, Dahlia, is described as a cool carnal maroon red. Whoa, that's a beautiful red, actually. That's like a, oh, it's like a velvet red. It's really pretty. I might brighten this a bit. It's getting a bit overcast as I swatch. So hopefully you can see the colors a bit better there. So definitely nudes and definitely interesting colors. I'd call that darks, brights, whatever. So if you haven't watched these videos before, there will be timestamps listed down below because these videos tend to be quite long. But what I'm going to do now is put this eyeshadow palette on my eyes, probably try a lip product or two, swatch it on my lips, and then I'll check back in over the next few days showing you my completed looks and maybe swapping out the lip product again so I can get through all of them. And my goal is to use every shade in the eyeshadow palette, all of the lip products, and show you the looks I've created and let you know how I feel about them as I go. And I will try to do some sort of more intense looks and some more pared down looks as well, so I can see if this is a versatile collection. All right, on my eyes today, I just have a Painterly Paint Pot. I haven't set it. It's still a little bit tacky, even though I've had it on for ages. I also have some dermatitis on my eye here, so ignore the lumps and bumps there. It is just my skin, not the product. I think I might start with some of the green shades, because if you do know me, you'll know I love these sort of murky green shades. With a big fluffy brush, I'm going to start with the shade Golden Age, just to sort of, I don't know, set the crease a little bit, see how the pigmentation is. I'm going to take this quite soft, because again, this is sort of just setting the base and prepping the eye for the look. This is a pretty powdery eyeshadow. I've had to really tap off my brush in the pan, and there's a bit of kick up happening, so it is a bit of a powdery one. All right, with a firmer brush, I've just picked up the Chlorophyll shade. That's the one that was sort of sealing a little bit with my finger. It does look like it's taken off the hard pan, so just be careful with that shade, because it seems like it is prone to sealing with any like oils on your fingers or any moisture. So just make sure you use like clean, dry brushes with that shade, because it might seal up. I sort of want this to be the lid shade, because I love this shade, and I sort of want to see what it can do. Again, this is a little bit powdery once you do pick up the product. There's a little bit of fallout happening, which is pretty common with Kaleidos eyeshadows, in my opinion. This is a gorgeous color. I feel like it's looking a lot brighter on camera than it is in person though, which is probably good, because it means I can sort of wear this on a daily basis. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that absolutely hate this color, but for some reason, I think it's really, really gorgeous. I think it looks more, it's prettier in real life than it is on camera, but I love this. It's such a nice like alternative to a green or a yellow. It's just in between, and for some reason, I love it. I just want to show as well, I'm not sure if you can see, I didn't get rid of the hard pan entirely, so there is still that hard pan there. What I just often do with the back of my brush is just sort of agitate it a little bit to break it up. But just be careful with that shade. Admittedly, I'm a little bit worried about mixing pink and mint into this. I think mint would be fine, but I think it'll take away from the awesome color that's going on. So I've just taken some of that dusty pink shade. I'm going to run that on my lower lash line. This again has a bit of fallout. I do often find that if you want to try a couple of colors together to sort of separate them top and bottom lid, it can be a nice way to incorporate multiple colors without them sort of mixing together and getting muddy or weird. Just got a little bit of the darker sort of rosy brown just to deepen the outer corner a little bit. Then with a sort of pencil brush, I'm going in with that dark green shade in a similar way, just to deepen the outer corner just slightly. These are, again, quite powdery. They benefit from tapping off your brush quite a bit. So that's just added a little bit more depth in the outer corner. I'm not going to lie, this color is a little bit patchy to blend. It gets there, but it's not a super overly... It's not one of those mattes that sort of blend themselves, and it requires a little bit of work. All right, so far this is an all matte look. I do want to go into the pink shimmer and maybe put it on the inner corner there, and maybe the green sort of old gold shimmer and put it there. So again, it's that split, but it's sort of mimicking what's going on above and below. I've got a little detail brush from Real Techniques just to pick up that pink one. I don't feel like this is going to apply super boldly, but let's see. It's pretty. Look, it adds definitely a more vibrant pink effect because it does have a strong pink iridescence. It's pretty. I think it's nice layered over those matte shades. I don't know. I think that's nicer than I was expecting, which is nice. Good. I've just wiped off my brush and taken a little bit of the shimmery green. I don't want this to be too intense. This one does seem to be a lot bolder, so I just wanted to take this a little bit slower. And you couldn't see that because it was out of focus. All right, let's see if this one stays in focus. So again, it melds really nicely with the color underneath, so it just adds a different texture to it. All right, so I've used all the palette except for the two sort of mint colors, but I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm just going to dust off some fallout. You can see there's a little bit of glitter fallout as well. So some sparkle fallout, it's not actually glitter. The matte fallout just dusts away, but there is a bit of shimmer that sort of sticks to the skin. All right, so that's the eyeshadow done for today. I am going to do some liner and mascara, and I'll come back and show you the look, and then I'll pair it with a couple of lips. All right, this is the final look. I actually thought I grabbed an olive liner. Turns out I grabbed a black one, but this is the first time I've used this. Mecca Max Zoom liner in black, and it was very, very nice on the waterline and the top lash line. So that's what I've used. And my Maybelline The Falsies Lash Lift Mascara. So that's all I've done. I really like this look. I do think, admittedly, I think it looked better without the shimmer. I might turn the brightness down a little bit. I think the shimmer, even though it's nice, I sort of feel like it makes it look a little bit more clownish, whereas I think the sort of chartreuse color paired with the sort of mauvey pink, I liked that a little bit more. So, but this is a look, I like it, I'm happy with it. I'll be back tomorrow with another look. Yeah, and so far, besides a bit of fallout, I think everything's performed pretty nicely. But before I do go, I'm going to try 2 lip products on. I'm going to go with the dark brown Mahogany first, just to see how it applies and how it looks, and then I might finish off with a Bode, which is the nude number 1, and I'll wear that throughout the day. All right, let's go. Dark chocolate brown. Ooh, these actually apply a lot more opaque than they look in the swatches. In the swatches, they look a little bit sheer and patchy, but on the lips, they're really nice and even. They have a like almost raw ingredients masked with a little bit of chocolate scent to it. Oh, I love this color. All right, I was actually going to take this off and put on a nude, but I don't want to take it off. I want to see where this goes. I think this is a gorgeous color. This is probably the most flattering shade of dark brown I've ever worn. It's like this perfect tone where it's got a little bit of warmth to it, so I can see some warmer tones, like goldy tones to it. So it's not cool toned, but I don't know, there's something about it. I think on deeper skin, this would be the most gorgeous nude color, but they've just nailed it with this tone. I'm a little bit shocked. I didn't think I was going to want to wear this to my pottery class, but clearly it is. And in terms of formula, it does feel like it's set down. Like, look, like it doesn't transfer. It's set down. It does feel a little bit powdery, but it doesn't feel dry powdery. It doesn't feel like it sucked the moisture out of my lips, but I feel it sort of reminds me of when you powder down a foundation with a slight bit of powder. You can feel that it's set and you can feel that it's touch dry, but your face doesn't feel like it's cracking and super dry like liquid lipsticks often make your lips feel. This is like a powdered down foundation. It feels like this. It's really nice, and it doesn't transfer. The only thing I have to say about it, we're losing the light. The only thing I have to say about it is that I found that when I was applying it, if you try to apply too many layers, it sort of balls up a little bit on itself. So if it's set down already and you try to put another layer, that top layer might sort of separate from it, but I don't even think it needs another layer. I love this. Yeah. Even though I love the chartreuse, I'm definitely more excited for these. I think these are potentially really fantastic. So I'm going to wear this. I'm going to enjoy this look. I think it's fun. I love it. And I'll be back tomorrow with another look, more lip products. We'll see how it goes. All right, I'm back with look number 2, and I wanted to take it a little bit more pared back and a little bit more simple today. I've just taken my kid to the pool. He's having a nap, and I thought while he's down, I'll just chuck some makeup on really quickly. So we're not doing anything exciting today, so I didn't want to do anything elaborate. So with the palette, firstly, I want to say that I do like that you can take this off completely. I think it's handy, but I still don't understand the point of the mirror. But I was going to just hit up the pinks, but I decided to use the 3 pinks and this shimmery mint color just because I'm not going to do too many looks, so I thought I may as well incorporate as many as possible and see how the colors mix together. So the pinks all work really nicely together. So what I did was I actually started with a glitter glue. So my Too Faced glitter glue, only because I wanted to see how this shade sticks with a sticky base. I really wanted to see if it applies quite intensely. So I put the glitter glue down, I set my base with my face powder, applied this all over the lid, went in to the crease with this sort of light pink shade and on the lower lash line. Then I deepened areas with this sort of browny mauve, so the outer corner, in the crease a little bit, on the lash line a little bit. So I just made like a pinky sort of ethereal, pretty look. And then I thought I would throw in a little bit of this shimmery shade here as well. So I tapped that just sort of on the middle part of the lid. All right, so hopefully close up you can see that really vibrant shimmery pink. I do think it applied quite, not boldly, because it still has a translucent base, so it's not a really strong color in itself, but it's got a nice strong color shift to it. So it's still quite a light looking shade, even applied over glitter glue, but it is quite twinkly and very pretty. And then I've tapped that mint shade just on the middle of the lid, which I think adds a little bit of coolness and sort of takes down some of that really vibrant pink, because it was looking a very bubblegum pink. A couple of things I want to say about the brown lip product that I wore yesterday. It wore really well until I started eating. Pretty much it kept nice and bold, and maybe on the inner part of my lip where it's a little bit wet, there was a little bit of nude sort of peeking through, but it wasn't too noticeable. But then when I ate, which was probably, let's say, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours after applying it, that's when it really started to break down. So once oils mix with this formula of lip product, it really does break down and it looks really patchy. So I'll have a photo on the screen of how this looked after I ate. But because it does break down really fast, one thing that's really good about it is you can wipe it off no problems. It's not like one of those really set, bold liquid lipsticks that take a lot of like scrubbing and tugging to remove. This just wiped off really easily with like a tissue, and then what you could do is either reapply, and what I ended up doing was applying another shade just to check it out. So what I want to do now is actually lip swatch all of the nudes, and the reason for that is I find in different lighting situations things can look really different, so it might be easier to sort of compare the undertones and the tones of the nude in the same video or on the same day. So that's what I'm going to do now, and then I'll just wear one for the rest of the day, and then throughout my next looks I'll wear some of the brights. All right, let's just start with the start. This is the shade Abode. All right, so this is definitely a little bit peachy, but it's sort of like a My Lips but better, a little bit deeper. You can see how smooth these are to apply. And they instantly have that sort of matte finish. One thing I love is the applicator. It's got that really fine point there, so you can really go in and line your lips with the product. And it also has a hole in the middle. I'm not sure if you can see. Hang on, I'll zoom in. So it's got a little hole, so it really holds a lot of product, so you don't feel like you need to re-dip. All right, the second one is Dune. So this is really nice. This is more of a mauvey tone, but again, a sort of My Lips but better shade. I love this. This is definitely a My Lips but like deeper shade, but I think it looks a lot darker on camera. In person, it just looks like a cloud. It looks so blurred. It looks matte, but really flattering. I'm going to struggle wanting to take this one off. This is Terra, and I have tried this one before. As soon as I got this package in the mail, I was like, oh, I want to try this one. It's the one that was on a lot of the models on the campaigns, and it's just a really beautiful shade. So here we go. Oh, I love this sort of burnt orange color. It's so gorgeous. Oh, it's so good. It's like an autumn brown, orangey, gorgeous shade, but it's not too dark. So you could definitely wear this just with most makeup looks, and it looks so gorgeous, especially in this formula. All right, last one is Sienna, and I love this one because that's what I'm going to be committing to all day. This looks like a deeper but more cool toned lip product, so let's go. Oh yeah, it's like a beautiful sort of caramel brown. So it's not as orange as the last one, but it's that same sort of depth. A little bit more neutral. All right, that's also gorgeous. Probably not as unique as the sort of orangey one, but really, really gorgeous. It's just like a deeper nude. I think my red top, at least on my viewfinder, is throwing this off to make it look a little bit more red. I would say this is a really neutral tone. It's got some warm tones in it, so it's got some like caramel, browny warm tones, but it's also a little bit rosy, so it's sort of like a neutral nude, but just a mid-tone version. It's very pretty. I think it would go with like every eye look. I love this set. I think this nude set, not only do they look gorgeous and they feel really nice, and I really like this formula, I think every shade is really pretty and they're different enough to need all four. That's how I justify it in my mind because I'm a lip lover. I'm like, I can use all four. They all have different looks. I'm loving this set. I think this is a great set. They've done a great job, but we'll see how it wears throughout the day, and I'll check back in tomorrow with a new look. Careful, sweetheart. Look, who's that? Can you see? Who's that? You're funny. All right, I'm back with look number 3, and even though I said I was going to go a bright lip, I'm actually about to go out for lunch, and I didn't think a bright lip was going to suit this eye look. I've got a kid grabbing the camera, so ignore that. It's the perils of trying to film with a toddler around. So I thought, look, if I wear the bright lip, it's going to clash with my eye makeup. It's going to clash with all the brown that I'm wearing. And also knowing that the darker shades, or that they sort of wear off patchy once you eat, I didn't want to have to deal with that while I'm out and about. So I put on the shade Terra, which is the one that I like the most. It's that browny sort of orangey shade from the nude pack, number 3, which I think is really cool. So I'm going to wear that today, and I'll probably swatch all the sort of brighter shades tomorrow and wear one of them throughout the day. The look that I decided to do today was with the mint and the sort of warmer greens, the grungy greens, just because I haven't done a look with the two, and I want to see how all the sort of color stories work well together in the palette. So if they do work cohesively together. So previously I've used Painterly Paint Pot and the Too Faced Glitter Glue. Today I used Groundwork Paint Pot by MAC, just because it has a slightly brown base and I sort of didn't want the mint to be too intense. Again, you know, I want something that's a little bit colorful, but nothing too sort of bold. So I put the shimmery green, the mint. You're a funny one. All right, I might just actually put a little image on the screen and a little like dot when I'm talking about the shades, because I feel like I'm gonna get a kid grabbing at the eyeshadows, because anything that's not a toy is fun to grab. So I went with a shimmery mint on the lid over the sort of slightly browner base. And I tried to do it a little bit. Look, I ended up building it up a little bit, but I didn't want it to be too intense. So I sort of applied it like a bit of a wash of color. And then I went over to that olivey gold shimmer shade and put it on the second half of the lid. So inner half is all mint, outer half is all grungy green. I applied that fairly lightly because I didn't want to pack that on. I sort of wanted the shimmers to have the same amount of intensity. And since the mint is a little bit more of a topper shade and doesn't have like a really strong color to it in the base, I wanted the effect to be sort of the same across both shades. So I went a little bit lighter handed with that. And then all I did, I went with a matte mint and I just blended that into the crease, and I put a little bit of... Hey, monkey man, what are you doing? What are you doing, sweetheart? Who's that? Who's that? You're a cheeky muffin, aren't you? You're a cheeky muffin. So in the crease is the matte mint, and then I took one of the grungy greens, not the like neon one, but the other one. Again, I'll have it on the screen. So I took that shade on the outer half to blend it out, and I also sort of blended it out as well to create a bit more of a shape there. And I took it again on the lower lash line. So the lower lash line is a mix between shimmer and matte, and the top lid is all shimmer and then blended out with mattes, if that makes sense. All right, I'm not too sure if you can see, but if you ignore what's in the crease, the sort of shimmers do blend really nicely into each other and do work quite organically. It was only when I really took that mint matte into the crease and then that sort of grungy, goldy green matte into the crease that it added a lot of color, where you can see the real distinction between the mint and that sort of goldy green shade. All right, I'm back today and I've decided not to wear the eyeshadow palette on my eyes today because I do want to wear some bright lips, and I don't really like wearing bright eyes and bright lips, or colorful eyes and bright lips at the same time. I just don't feel comfortable in it, so I thought I'd just go Project Pan stuff on my eyes today and do some lip swatches and then wear one of these throughout the day so I have an idea of how they wear. So that's my plan. All right, I'm going to start off with the teal color. It's not the one that I'm going to wear throughout the day. I might wear the pink just because I feel like it goes with sort of like my bright jumper, but I love the idea of this color. Let's see how it applies. So it's very dark. It's like ink, like an ink teal color. So hopefully you can see that when I apply it, it's not super opaque, but at the same time, it does apply a nice even color. So it doesn't need to be fully opaque to look good. All right, so this is the shade Agave. It's a nice, even, bold, dark teal. I really like this color. I do secretly have a soft spot for this color, and I think I have two other lipsticks in my collection that's the same color because I think it's actually surprisingly flattering. Yes, it's an unusual shade, but I feel like if you can wear a red or a berry lip, this gives the same sort of effect on the lips, just in a different tone. So I like this. I like the formula. Look, like I'm really pressing down hard and there's a little bit of transfer, but really not much. So it is a pretty budge-proof lipstick. All right, now for the shade Dahlia. So this is the red. It's a nice dark, rich sort of berry red. All right, I love this shade. It reminds me a lot of MAC Ruby Woo. So it is a darker red, but it's not going into berry territory, but it's also not like a neon red, if that makes sense. It's not a fire engine red. It is more like a cherry red, I would say. I think it looks a little bit more deeper and a little bit more muted in person. On camera, it looks a little bit more vibrant, but this is just a really nice standard red. I think a lot of people and all skin tones can wear this. If you're not comfortable wearing a red, clearly you're probably not comfortable wearing the rest of the shades here. But if you are okay with a red, this will suit you. It's a really beautiful shade. I would definitely wear this in winter. I would definitely wear this. I'm kind of bummed I'm taking it off to wear the pink because I really like this lip. It's really beautiful. Again, very MAC Ruby Woo, just in a liquid form. All right, the last one that I'm going to be wearing is Cactus Flower, which is the bright pink, and that's the one I'm going to be committing to for the rest of the day. It's a nice, like a neutral bright pink, but quite deep. All right, similar to the red, I feel like this looks a little bit brighter on camera than it does in person. In person, it's like a nice, it's a darker pink, but it is quite a vibrant dark pink. It is a bright pink, but it's not like crazy bright. So I feel like a lot of people could wear this. Again, I feel like this is the pink version of a red lip. So if you can rock a red lip, you can probably rock this. It's quite a neutral pink. I think if it was to lean anything, it'd lean a little bit more warm toned. So it feels like it's got a little bit more yellow tones than it does have blue tones, but it's quite neutral. Again, I feel like this would suit so many different skin tones. So one thing I think that is great about this pack just off the bat is even though the colors are a little bit unique, I think Kaleidos have picked the perfect tones where a lot of people can wear these. Like even if you're not super confident wearing a brown, I feel like the tone of brown will work on so many different people. The tone of red will work on so many different people, the pink, and of course the teal, which is a bit more unusual, but I feel like they've picked the tones really nicely. So I actually really like this pack. All right, I'm back with the last look, and I decided I wanted to use pretty much the whole palette today to see if this palette, like if all shades can work in one look, and this is what I've created. So I'll zoom in and tell you a little bit more about it, and then I'll conclude what I think about this collection. All right, to be fair, this actually looks a lot better on camera than it does in real life. I was like, this is a hot mess, but I do think I saved it by blending out, like sort of blowing out the matte shades. So the way I started this look, I put Sun Gazer all over the lid. So that's a shimmery green. It's quite flaky. You can even see in the pan, it's like chunky, and it like I've got a bit of fallout on my face. Like I'm not wearing any highlighter, but I've got little flecks of glitter, so that's a bit of a messy shade. Then I used Golden Age, this one here in the crease a little bit. I did go over it later with Chlorophyll, so this one, so that's mainly what you see, but I did start with the more muted shade. Then I decided to layer a little bit of the shimmery pink, so Stained Glass, just on the outer half of the lid. There is a bit of overlap. I'm not sure if you can see properly, but when you do overlap the two shimmery shades, they sort of neutralize each other and create more of a nude shade. I'll turn the brightness down a little bit, but there is a little bit of an overlap here where it looks a little bit more nude. Then I took the two matte pink shades, so the darker shade in the outer corner, and then I sort of diffused that with a lighter pink. And then on the lower lash line, I decided to hit up the mint two shades. So I started by running the matte all over the lower lid, and I sort of flicked it out a little bit. You can see it there. And then I sort of mixed the shimmery green and the shimmery mint on the inner corner to create a bit of brightness. But I sort of went back and forth, sort of building that and changing that and putting a bit more matte and playing with it. So it was a little bit of a experimental mishmash with this look, but it looked like a hot mess. It was looking quite messy and quite disjointed, but I think what brought it together was at the end, I took a fluffy brush, I took Chlorophyll, really sort of blended that out into the sort of inner socket. I took Peach Soju, so that light pink shade, and I really sort of blended that out, so quite like almost to the brow. And then I also took Mint Fever, so the matte mint, and I again sort of really sort of emphasized that and blew it out to make it look a little bit more like watercolory pastel, because it was sort of looking a little bit messy. So yeah, that's the final look using pretty much all shades except for Earthship. That's the only shade in this palette I didn't use. Every other shade I used in this look, which is excessive. All right, so now that I've explained this look a little bit more, I'm going to talk about what I think about the palette, the lip products, and also the lip treatment that I haven't really spoken about at all throughout this video. I have spent the last couple of nights or couple of days sort of using it and playing with it, so I do have thoughts. I'll talk about that as well. All right, so overall I actually really love this collection. There's not too much that I don't like about it, but there are some weaknesses, but overall I think it's a pretty solid collection. I'll talk about the palette first because that's what we were just discussing. I really love this mirrored packaging. I really love the design. I don't know how I feel about this situation. It is handy using it, but the mirror is not really functional. And I sort of feel like, okay, you can have gimmicks and you can play around with packaging, but at the end of the day, I want it to function well. And I didn't really see the point of having the mirror. So I don't mind it coming off completely, but I just don't, I don't see the point of the mirror. So that's that. When it comes to the eyeshadows, I like the colors. I think every color on me I can use in a look. I think if I was to continue doing looks using this palette, I would have delved in with these, like using these shades mixed with more neutral shades. So I would have loved to have used these with some browns and maybe use these with like taupes or something. So I feel like this is a good accompanying palette to more sort of nude neutral looks, but I feel like every shade is pretty flattering. They've picked the shade really well. My favorite look still was the very first look. I can't wait to use sort of these shades in an all matte look, maybe with some brown. So the fact that I've done a review on this palette and I want to reach for it again to recreate looks or tweak looks says a lot about the palette. It means that it's a palette that I am excited for, that inspires me, and that you can get really cool looks from it. In terms of how these shades work well together, I feel like they're like, okay, I'm using all shades on my eyes today, and I don't think it's easy to use all shades in one look. I found it a bit of a struggle. I was playing around it quite a bit. I found that these pinks and these greens do neutralize each other a lot, which is good if you want to sort of tone them down. Like if you've gone too overboard with some of the greens, you can add some pinks and it sort of neutralizes it down. But I do find that some of the shades can sort of compete and be a little bit difficult to work cohesively together, which is why I sort of separated them. So like the greens, the pinks, the mints underneath, they're on separate areas of the eye, because otherwise they can sort of muddy together and compete a little bit. But I do think it's still quite a versatile palette, because even though you can have green looks, pink looks, mint looks, I feel like those two color stories work really well together. Those work well together. The mints and the greens worked well together. I just don't think all shades are easy to use in one look, which realistically, when are you going to grab, what is this, a 9-pan palette and use every single shade? It's not a common thing. So when it comes to the quality, I think the quality is nice. It's a very Kaleidos quality. I do feel like their shades, look, I think that they're good. They're nice quality. They're not like amazing quality. They don't blend themselves. They're not like the most flawless eyeshadows in the world. But I think where Kaleidos do some really great things is they're really, really fantastic with their color stories and picking interesting color stories. And if you like a color in the pan, you can get it on your eye and it will create a beautiful look. It might be a bit powdery, it might be a bit flaky, it might seal up a little bit, but you can get the eyeshadow on your eye to create the look you want. So they're not perfect, but they're quite nice. And, you know, I love this color story. I can't wait to use that part more. All right, not surprisingly, the things I love the most from the collection are actually the lip products. I'm wearing one on my lips today. It's from the nude set. It's the shade Dune. And I love these. The formulation is something I don't have in my collection. So it goes on like mousse, sets down so it's doesn't transfer. So I can touch my lips and it feels like there's like almost a balm or a silicone sort of feel to the lips, so it doesn't feel dry, but they don't transfer. There's no transfer. So I love these. They're super comfortable. They give you that sort of blurred, matte, gorgeous effect. Really nice and even. The brights are really nice and bright. The nudes are really nice and nude. And they do last fairly well. Pretty much if you have anything that's oily, it sort of starts to break them down, but it's really easy to wipe them off and just reapply them. I love these. I love the formulation. And again, I love the colors. I think the nudes are all great nudes. I will reach for every single one of them. And the brights, okay, I probably wouldn't reach for the teal too often, but I think one thing that's awesome about this sort of bright set is that all shades are flattering. So if you are a little bit more experimental with your lip products, the brown is the most perfect shade of brown. The teal is the most perfect shade of teal. The red is a really beautiful classic red, and the pink is a beautiful vibrant pink. So all the shades are beautiful shades. It's just whether or not you will get a lot of use out of them, but it's a very fun set. This is a bit more experimental, but a little bit more, I don't know, special in my opinion. And this is one that I would sort of wear every single day. I love the packaging. I love the boxes. I would totally keep the boxes. You can pull this out and just use the tins for whatever you want, or put a lot of lip products in here. So if you take the insert out, you can probably fit a lot in there. I find these to be really handy, really cute. I don't feel like it's excessive packaging just for the sake of it. I feel like these are functional and there's something that you can sort of stack on a shelf or something, and you know, or just put like that, and they don't take up heaps of space. And I like them. I like the packaging. I like everything about them. I love the formula. Ideally, I would have loved these to wear a little bit longer through food, but I also understand that for something to be as comfortable as they are, they they break down with oil. It is what it is. It's a trade-off. So I think these are such a fun formula, and it's like nothing I've got in my collection. I also really love the packaging design. So it's just your sort of standard tube. But that point is like amazing to line your lips. You don't need to use a lip liner with these. And they give you that really full, gorgeous, velvety lip. I love it. The only thing I would suggest Kaleidos do, besides bring out more shades, because I really love the formula, is release these in individual shades, because I do know people that might want this one lip product, but they won't use like the terracotta shade, or they really want the red, but they don't want to use the teal. So I feel like I understand why they brought them out in sets originally, but it'd be good to see them bring them out individually in the future. But yeah, these by far are my favorite part of the whole collection, and I love these. They're going to stay on my desk. I want to keep using them. They're really cool. Probably my most disappointing part is the Blue Agave Softening Lip Mask. Not because it's a bad product, just because I don't really see the point of it. So I have been using this the last few days and nights, and it's like a lip balm, but it reminds me of back in the Body Shop days where you would use like the lip balms, and as soon as you put your finger in it, it mushes into like a lip gloss feel. That's what this does. So instead of it being like a thicker, firmer lip product that we're sort of used to these days with lip treatments or lip masks, or like Laneige lip mask, that's sort of like a firmer texture, you pretty much press on this and it sort of just turns into like a really slippery gloss, which is fine. It just reminds me of the old school sort of lip products from like the 90s. So I feel like it feels a little bit dated, but that's, you know, that's just my observation. In terms of the product itself, I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's mind-blowing. It's sort of just middle of the road. Yes, it sort of conditions your lips. It doesn't leave your lips feeling super plump and amazing after using it, but other lip products can leave your lips feeling drier after it's worn off. It doesn't do that. Again, it's just sort of middle of the road. It just seems a little bit out of place in this collection. Yeah, it's nothing to write home about, but it's not bad. My only rationale for why I think they would have potentially included this in the collection is if you were using these types of products and you do have drier lips, you might find that you want to use a lip treatment underneath, or after you take it off, you might want to use a lip treatment. So I understand that these are a matte finish product, so maybe they were like, let's sort of soften the blow for people with drier lips. But I would just say if you've got really dry lips, just don't buy matte finish lip products if they make you feel uncomfortable. I'm actually pretty impressed with this collection. Again, my favorite things are the lip products, followed by the eyeshadow palette and then the lip mask. All right, so that's my review, and I have to say that it's a good sign if I've used a collection or a palette or lip products for a week or so and I want to keep using them. That's a sign that I'm inspired by it. I like the formula, and yeah, they're doing something right. So I'm really keen to try more of the lip products, and I'm really keen to create some awesome like matte chartreuse eye looks. I'm vibing it. I love that. And just based on that, I think this collection is a winner in my books anyway. All right, so that's it from me. I want to give a big thank you to Kaleidos for sending me this full review. I really appreciate it. If you have tried these products, especially the lip products, I want to know how people feel about them, because I'm loving them, but I know that, you know, everyone's different. Everyone's lips are different, so I'm keen to see what people think about them. So leave a comment down below if you've tried them, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.